Well, welcome in another episode of the Critics Collective, and this is the end. The end. I didn't think we'll get to the end, but here we are. It's just the end of the series, first season. That's all. We're doing the Dark Side of the Ring. We're continuing it going, and this is episode 6, the Fabulous Moolah. Now we've done Gino, Devon Eriks, we've talked about Brody, and so many other legends in this series for the first season. But here we go. We're getting ready to get into season 2. Before that, we need to finish season 1. So episode 6. Now, this one right here, it's going to be an interesting rating at the end. Stay tuned for that. But hit the subscribe button so your notifications are set up. They're on. Comment. Check us out. 3 minutes. That's all we ask. 3 minutes. Let us know, what are you watching? Especially if we're doing wrestling. Who's your favorite wrestler? Is there a documentary, a movie with a wrestler, a show that we should check out? Let us know. We got more to come. Now, for this one, no impressions, because again, it's just episodes and they're rolling. Now, a lot of what I have was just negatives about this episode. What I mean by that is not in a it was an interesting episode for me to get to the end of this one. It was like at some point I was saying, she's a bad man, pajama. Mm, just as mean as she can be, because she was mean. She was a hell of a mean person. But respectfully, she is a woman's wrestling diva goat, because of what she's done for the industry and for women, getting some of the biggest matches in a time where women weren't wrestling more than just showing off their body, rolling around in jello, pudding, or mud. And so for her to come out here and show the physicality of it and take it serious to create her own, or seems from the information I saw, create her own training camp, her own, I want to say, locker room or pipeline of women wrestlers that would continue to go out to different territories, constantly being a pioneer in women's wrestling. It's how you probably have really some foundation of what women wrestling is right now, whether in the professional level of it or the indie level of it. So there's something to say for that. She was a heel, top heel. And what I mean by that is there's certain people who just, I felt like they're notorious for playing a heel and they played it well. Triple H is the heel that you love, you know? You have Ric Flair is a heel that is just JBL, like a heel that you're envious of. You want the hair, you want the cars, you want the ladies, you want it all. Fast life living. You have some heels that are just charismatic, and you just can't. The outsiders, Nash and Scott Hall, like they were fucking cool, but they were bad guys. Yeah, you got this one other heel who's racist. We're not gonna talk about him, but you know who the fuck I'm talking about. Fuck that guy. Anyways, you have even some of the ladies who are heels, or just, you got Victoria with the Widow's Peak Jazz. I remember the braids is kind of swinging. Naomi right now in her situation that she has with Jade. So just hills are gonna heal. She was a fucking heel. She was pulling hair, pinching nipples, like she was a heel. And there was something about that. I didn't know it, and I got a chance to learn it, see it, and I thought it was cool. I don't know why I wrote this on here, but I'm gonna say it because real reviews here. Look 60 from day one. I just there's she didn't If she does it for you, she does it for you. The people in the comments will say something like, I would passionately, and eye contact. Like just you, if you get the joke, you get the joke. This is a no for me, dog. This not a no. Now you go back, and if I could just go sidebar for a little bit, and I hate to say, I mean, I guess because it's women wrestling, that's why I'm doing it, versus I'm not doing it for guy wrestling, but they put it out there. Um, with divas and everything, the outfits, whatnot. When you look at like Betty White, go back and look at Betty White's pictures. Like if you've never seen Betty White before the Betty White, you know her from pop culture. You'd be like, all right, Betty White, all right, Betty White. I can't say that for her. Moving on. Student becomes the teacher. Now there is a person in here called Sweet Georgia Brown, which also I believe is a jazz song back in the day as well. But anyways, Sweet Georgia Brown was a wrestler that came under the pipeline of the Fabulous Moolah, and they talked about her being basically the fourth ranked woman in the world and not winning the championship belt. But they also talked about the heartaches and situations with her Moolah's husband, Buddy, and how the alleged um, actions that happen dealing with that, with drugs and sex and all this other stuff. And it goes into some really dark stuff with this individual. I felt with the Moolah one, it was more like she was just mean and she only wanted her limelight and the money, and she didn't care about the other one. She stepped on him. And I felt like I kind of knew that when she popped back up in the WWE. You saw her and Mae Young and Mark Henry having a baby that's a hand. We get some bad storylines. Anyways, so I kind of knew that someone wasn't shot, but when I saw the Sweet Georgia Brown, and there was a few other women who felt similar, and saw some other women who would just love Moolah and they would lay at her feet, and it was an interesting dynamic. But I thought Sweet Georgia Brown and others like her was the main story, because it was almost like after I saw and heard, I was like, wait, this is the dark side of the ring. This right here. And what I expected was, I expected the next episode, and again, this is the last of this season. I expected the next episode to continue the conversation about women wrestling and that dark side. And I felt like this should have been about Sweet Georgia Brown or wrestlers like her. And then towards the end, then you talk about the Moolahs of the world, and that's just my perspective. Now it just says, IMDb says the legacy of wrestling's biggest female star, the Fabulous Moolah, is re-examined after her situations following her 2007 death. There was no situation, to my knowledge, when she passed away. She had an injury that happened with her shoulder. She had some blood clots, and she died, I believe, of a heart attack. She was in and out of the medical institution. I want to say the last year or so before. I think at one point she lived with Mae Young, and another time, Hank Williams, the country legend, she was with him, and they didn't work out, and she leaves, and he overdoses allegedly on drugs. So she had such a lifestyle, being out there in the limelight and being royalty in wrestling. Um, I really wanted a conversation for the other ones that we don't know. Now, there was a documentary, or a story documentary, called Lipstick and Dynamite, Piss and Vinegar, the First Ladies of Wrestling. I have not watched this. This came out in 2004. It went to the Tribeca Film Festival. And maybe I'll try to track this down and see it, but I feel like it might be the same thing. But it might be better for what I'm looking for, to get some names from other people. So I may go take a look at that and see that. Now, um, again, it was pretty cool, but it would have been nice to see what Fabulous Moolah's accomplishments were at the end. Just, hey, listen, this is, I know we showed you some stuff, some dark stuff, but let me show you some stuff. Again, she was going to be in a Bill Cosby movie. That didn't work out. There were some other things that she did where she was just that person in the limelight. And I just thought it was pretty cool. So let's go ahead and rate this one. We rate here from 0 to 5, 5 being great, and 0 being something that's not really good. When I'm doing the wrestling thing, it's tough. It's nothing against the wrestler, the family, anything like that. It's just, when I watched it, how did I feel about their, I guess, executing it? Um, I don't know. It's a weird tangible feel that I have on this one. And so for this one, I'm going to say it's a 2. And if you were here from the beginning, I didn't think I would ever go lower than a 3 in this series, because of the way they're shooting, the way the interviews are, and I get a chance to learn and see stuff. And did I learn stuff? Yes. But I learned stuff in such a way that I felt like, then why isn't this the main story? If you're basically turning the female wrestlers, some of them allegedly, into prostitutes, why isn't that the dark side of the ring? Why are we not figuring and learning that? Because fast forward to today, we have women wrestlers who are committing suicide because of comments made on their Instagram or Twitter account. We're having women wrestlers talking about how they're harassed in the background. You have a certain legendary promoter and owner of a promotion basically under legal situation, probably as we speak, because of stuff. So I just felt like that should have been the main story, and the Fabulous Moolah should have been her own story. And I think it was, in my opinion, a disservice for both of them to kind of have to share the spotlight, when the conversation was how they had to work so hard to get into the spotlight. Now, you could have been anywhere in the world and you chose to be here. I greatly appreciate that. Till next time, go lick a loud.